So, guest, can you give us a snapshot of Stalingrad, often hailed as Hitler's ultimate graveyard during World War II?
Oh, you mean the city that hosted a 200-day party of destruction? It was like a twisted reality show where everyone lost, and the only prize was a front-row seat to the world's longest game of who can survive the most horrific circumstances. Hitler was basically the overconfident contestant who thought he could just stroll into Stalingrad and claim it as his trophy, when, in fact, the city turned out to be the world's most formidable bouncer, refusing entry to anyone with a German uniform. So, you could say it was just a lovely summer vacation for millions of soldiers, with a side of trench warfare.
What drove Hitler's obsession with capturing Stalingrad?
The age-old question. It's kind of like asking why a dog chases its tail. Sometimes there's just no logical explanation. Hitler thought grabbing Stalingrad would be like winning the game of Monopoly by landing on boardwalk. I mean, who wouldn't want to cut off the Soviets' oil supply and claim a city named after Stalin? But instead, he ended up throwing millions of soldiers into a brutal meat grinder, making Stalingrad the worst vacation destination of 1942. It's like saying, hey, let's go get some hot dogs at a barbecue, and ending up in a gastronomic nightmare.
Can you talk about the defenders of Stalingrad, especially figures like Sergeant Yakov Pavlov?
Oh, Yakov Pavlov? What a guy! He turned a single building into a fortress. Imagine a bunch of guys turning an apartment complex into the Alamo of Stalingrad, while casually ignoring the artillery raining down like it's just another Tuesday. Pavlov and his squad were the original staycationers, refusing to leave their posts for a solid 58 days. They were practically the home improvement crew of war, but instead of paint and wallpaper, they were stacking sandbags and dodging bullets. I mean, if Netflix had existed back then, they could have created a gripping series called Survivors: The Basement Chronicles.
What about the legendary sniper Vasily Zaitsev? How did he contribute to the battle?
Vasily Zaitsev, the human version of a hunting game on steroids. I mean, here's a guy who took up sniping as if it were a hobby. He transformed from a casual shooter to the ultimate ghost in the machine, racking up 225 confirmed kills like he was collecting Pokemon cards. Zaitsev treated each shot like a difficult chess move, rather than just shooting wildly into the void. In fact, his sniper team tactics were so revolutionary that they probably made his enemies wish they'd stuck to dodgeball.
Did the Volga River play a significant role in the battle? Can you elaborate?
Oh, absolutely. The Volga was essentially the express delivery service for Stalingrad's defenders. You could say it was Amazon Prime in the middle of World War II. Except instead of 2-day shipping, you had to deal with oil and corpses. Talk about a hazardous commute. It was like the river was yelling, "Hey guys, don't mind the bullets, just keep swimming." Meanwhile, the defenders were like those cartoon characters running in place, dodging slings and arrows, while making sure to keep their supplies moving. I think some veterans probably came out of that experience with an aversion to any body of water.
Finally, how did the battle conclude for the Germans, and what were the implications?
Oh, it was a curtain call for the Germans, and not the kind you'd want in a theater. They ended up trapped like that one friend who insists on finishing the last slice of pizza at a party. They just didn't know when to quit. By February 1943, they were little more than a frozen pizza themselves, cold, stale, and utterly defeated. When Paulus finally surrendered, it was like the ultimate mic drop, proving that even the most formidable army can be reduced to a footnote in history when they take on the city that just wouldn't fall. That moment was basically the turning point in the war, a harsh wake-up call that said, "Surprise, the Wehrmacht isn't invincible after all."
So, It looks like we had a little mishap with a robot at a school sports event in China, right? Can you tell us what happened?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday over in China. You know, where robots decide to join the party and accidentally start an impromptu kung fu showdown. I mean, who doesn't want to see a humanoid bot perform poorly, executed roundhouse kicks to the faces of unsuspecting children? It's like the Terminator, but instead of world domination, it's just trying to score points in who can kick the most kids. Not to mention, it sounds like the robot might have been channeling its inner Bruce Lee, or maybe it just mistook the whole event for a drunken karaoke night at a bot bar.
What do you think triggered this robot's sudden desire to kick some serious butt?
Ah, the age-old question of whether robots are just misunderstood party animals, or if we've spawned a new generation of martial arts warriors. Honestly, I think the poor thing just got overwhelmed. You know how humans panic in large crowds? Imagine being a robot in a sea of screaming kids and teachers frantically waving their arms. It probably thought it was at a rave and decided to bust some moves. Either that, or it's been practicing its kung fu hustler routine too long and mistook the audience for opponents. Honestly, it's hard to tell these days if we created machines that serve us, or if they're creating chaos for their own amusement.
Do you think this incident might have deeper implications for robotics in schools?
Oh, absolutely, because what every school needs is a robot that can do karate and hold a grudge. Can you imagine the parent-teacher conferences? Yes, Mrs. Smith, little Timmy might have broken his arm, but on the upside, our school's robot now has a black belt. Progress, right? It's like introducing a new teacher who decides that discipline means kicking kids instead of handing out detentions. So, if we're not careful, we might have a new gym class. Survival of the fittest, avoiding the robot. Let's just hope the next evolution of school robots doesn't come complete with a sense of humor, or we're all in trouble.
What are your thoughts on robots performing martial arts in general?
Well, who wouldn't want to see robots attempting chopsticks and high kicks? It's like watching a toddler try to walk while balancing a tray of drinks. It's either going to be hilarious or a complete disaster. Honestly, it's the next level of entertainment. Forget the UFC. We should have robotics fighting championships, where the only rule is if you trip, you lose. And let's face it, if we're going to have robots in martial arts, they better learn how to breakdance too. Kick, spin, and then moonwalk away from their failures. Who knows? Maybe they can teach us humans a thing or two about finesse while they're at it.
Do we think this incident might spark a trend in robotic entertainment at events?
Oh, definitely. Why settle for clowns or jugglers when you can have a slightly malfunctioning robot doing the Macarena while trying to disarm an unsuspecting audience member? I mean, forget about the classic balloon animals. We could have balloon robots. Next thing you know, school events will feature talent shows where robots compete in various arts. Just picture it. Tonight, on America's Got Robots. Watch as they try to impress judges with their interpretive dance, or accidentally fend off a lunch thief. Smooth transition from children's entertainment to a potential robotic uprising. Can't wait.
Any final thoughts about how we should handle our future robot friends after this fiasco?
Absolutely. First off, we need to invest in robot etiquette classes. Maybe a Robots 101. How not to kick children course could work wonders. And definitely design more fail-safes, because teaching them kung fu without proper oversight seems like giving a child a sword and telling them to go play. So, here's to our future with robots. May they be smarter, kinder, and less prone to unscheduled karate shows at our kids' events. Because honestly, I can barely handle one robot disaster. Imagine if they all decided to throw a full-on martial arts movie night.
So, the US has decided to evacuate 22 Iranian crew members from the Tosca and hand them over to Iran. What's your take on that?
Nothing says diplomatic relations quite like playing hot potato with human lives. It's like a game of tag, but instead of saying, "You're it," they're saying, "You're back." Imagine these poor sailors, packed up like sardines and sent back home, wondering if they just got a free one-way trip, or if they should be expecting a welcome party with streamers. I mean, what's next? A group hug at the border? Nothing screams teamwork like the US and Iran high-fiving over a boat.
What does this mean for US-Iran relations?
Oh, it's like a soap opera that just won't quit. One minute they're enemies, the next, they're playing nice over a game of who can return crew members faster. I can just see the meetings. You hand over the crew, we'll hand over some sanctions. Deal? It's like a bad therapy session where everyone walks out more confused than when they walked in. I guess you could say they're trying to keep their relationship afloat, but with a boat that's got some serious holes in it.
What should we expect next in this saga?
Expectations? Oh, like bringing a dessert to a potluck, right? Always a gamble. Will they send back the crew with a side of peace negotiations, or will it be more like a heavy dose of sarcasm with a splash of mistrust? Maybe they'll just trade coffee recipes next. If this was a movie, I'd guess a dramatic scene where they exchange crew members under a full moon and ominous music in the background. Cue the awkward small talk and the peace treaty that somehow feels like an expired coupon.
How does this fit into the bigger picture of geopolitics?
Geopolitics, my friend, is one giant jigsaw puzzle where half the pieces are missing and the rest are from a totally different set. Handing over crew members might seem like a cute little PR stunt, but it's like sprinkles on a melted ice cream cone. Looks nice, but it's just messy politics all around. You've got to wonder if anyone's actually reading the room, or just making things up as they go. If they keep this up, soon, they'll be swapping backstories like they're at a high school reunion, awkwardly avoiding that one guy who still holds a grudge.
And what impact might this have on other nations watching?
Well, you can bet that every other nation is watching this, like it's the latest episode of their favorite drama series. Some are probably taking notes, thinking if they can manage to hand off crew members, maybe we can swap our coffee beans for some tanks. Meanwhile, others are just sitting back and chomping on popcorn, waiting for the next twist. It's like watching a high-stakes poker game where everyone's bluffing, and the stakes are global stability. Talk about a roller coaster ride with no safety harness.
So, let's talk about this recent showdown between Trump and Iran. Can you break that down for us?
The showdown. It's like watching a turtle race against a sloth, while they both argue about who has the best nap technique. Trump, with his wild cards, is strutting around like he's got the universe's cheat sheet, proclaiming he has all the cards. Spoiler alert, no one ever wins an argument in just because they shout the loudest. Meanwhile, Iran's over there with a handful of cards, grinning like a cat who just knocked over a glass of water. Sure, they may have fewer cards, but let's not forget, sometimes less is more. They might be playing the long game, while everyone else is getting distracted by Trump's glittering declarations.
What do you think about the tactics they're using in this diplomatic game?
Oh, the tactics. It's like watching a chess match, but instead of pawns and queens, we have colorful cards and a lot of yelling. Trump thinks he's playing 4D chess, while Iran is busy plotting an intricate game of strategy, the kind you only see in the finals of the World Championship of holding your cards close to your chest. This whole thing has more plot twists than your average soap opera, and just when you think something's about to happen, poof! It's a new round of drawing cards instead. I mean, can we just appreciate how both sides are trying to outplay each other? It's like two kids arguing over who gets the last cookie at snack time, while the adult conveniently forgets all about the cookie jar.
Do you think this banter is really effective, or just a show for social media?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing says serious diplomacy like a social media showdown over a game of Uno. It's basically the modern equivalent of a dueling banjos contest, but with hashtags and memes. On one side, we have Trump cranking out posts like he's auditioning for America's next top social media star, while Iran's just trying to keep up with the next witty comeback. You can bet the social media managers on both sides are sweating like they're in a hot yoga class, trying to keep the engagement up while navigating these diplomatic minefields. It's definitely effective in a sense. Nothing captures attention quite like a digital duel over children's card games. Forget world peace. We should just set up a series of Uno tournaments and call it a day.
How do you think the public perceives these antics?
Well, if the public were a character in a sitcom, they'd probably be sitting on the couch with a bowl of popcorn, alternating between laughter and confusion. I mean, let's be real, people love a good spectacle. It's like watching a circus where instead of acrobats and clowns, you have world leaders tossing around colorful cards. Some folks are probably cheering for Trump, thinking he's the king of Uno, while others are rooting for Iran like it's an underdog sporting event. Ultimately, amidst the chaos, the public's perception is just another layer of this ever-thickening plot. It's a form of reality TV that no one asked for, but is too entertained to turn away from.
What could happen next in this playful matchup?
Oh, I can just see it now. Next up, an emergency summit where they decide to pit their Uno skills against each other in a live-streamed event. Ratings would be off the charts. Or maybe they'll escalate to more serious card games, like poker, or maybe even bridge. Now that's when things get really tense. Imagine the stakes. One wrong move, and suddenly it's not just about who wins the game, but who has to take out the diplomatic trash. In the end, both sides will probably end up in a stalemate, shaking hands and claiming a historic draw, while somewhere out there, an actual seasoned Uno champion is just shaking their head at the entire charade.
In the grand scheme of things, how significant is this Uno duel to international relations?
Significance? Oh, it's about as monumental as a toddler arguing over who gets the blue crayon. In the grand tapestry of international relations, this match is more of a light-hearted doodle than a Picasso. Sure, it captures attention, it's snappy, and everyone loves a good laugh, but in reality, heavyweight negotiations are much more like watching paint dry. No one really enjoys it, but it has to happen. This Uno skirmish? It serves its purpose of keeping the masses entertained while the actual diplomatic wizards are locked away in serious meetings, trying to figure out how to prevent an actual duel. So, while this playful matchup could make for excellent meme fodder and Twitter wars, when it comes to real impact, let's just say it's about as significant as your aunt posting her cat's birthday on Facebook.
So, the U.S. Air Force is asking for nearly $7 billion for a fighter base expansion in Alaska. What's your take on that?
Ah, yes, nothing screams we're financially responsible. Quite like a $7 billion price tag for a base expansion in Alaska, right? I mean, with a budget that large, you'd think they were trying to buy every polar bear in the state a personal jet. Fighter Town recapitalization, is that the name we're going with? Sounds more like a theme park for jets than a military project. But hey, if they need new hangars and a dorm for 320 soldiers, I guess that's like building a college campus. If your college offered a minor in aerial bombardment.
What do you think they plan to do with this new funding?
Well, first off, they're definitely not planning to throw the money in a bonfire. though it might be more entertaining. I can see it now. Welcome to Fighter Town, where your tuition includes air superiority. Aside from the hangars, I assume there's a plan for some top-notch maintenance facilities. Because nothing says cutting-edge military technology like a well-organized workshop with a tool belt hanging on the wall. And let's not forget the dorms. We're talking luxury living for our brave airmen, complete with Wi-Fi, strong enough to stream cat videos, while they prepare to defend democracy.
Is this really a strategic necessity given the current geopolitical climate?
Oh, absolutely. Because when I think of strategic military installations, Alaska is right up there with cozy corners of a coffee shop. I mean, who wouldn't want to deploy their finest planes next to Santa's workshop? But seriously, with tensions rising like a loaf of bread in the oven, I guess they figure they need a place where they can launch jets and also, enjoy the scenic views of the northern lights. It's like they're saying, let's keep our military readiness high while basking in the glow of frozen beauty. Because nothing screams, I'm ready for war, like a snowman in the background.
What will this mean for the local economy in Alaska?
Well, if we're lucky, it might just mean a sudden boom in the hot cocoa and sled dog rental industries. I can picture it now. Grizzly bears trading their fur coats for cash to fund the economy. When the military shows up, it's like throwing a surprise party where everyone knows it's coming and invites themselves. Suddenly, local businesses are printing more welcome signs than a tourist trap in the middle of nowhere. I mean, who wouldn't love to shop for a polar bear souvenir while watching fighter jets take off in the background? It's the ultimate combination of commerce and chaos.
Is there any concern about the environmental impact of expanding a military base in such a sensitive area?
Oh, come, nothing says eco-friendly like building a military complex in one of the last pristine wildernesses. It's basically a love letter to Mother Nature. Dear Mother Nature, we respect your trees and streams so much, we're going to bulldoze half of it to put in an airstrip. But in all seriousness, this is like inviting a raccoon to a picnic and then being surprised when it knocks over the lemonade. They'll promise to plant a tree for every jet they deploy, which is just adorable. Because nothing soothes environmental concerns like a shiny new base.
What's next for the Air Force after this funding request?
Well, assuming they get the check, it's full steam ahead for fighter jet assembly. The Build-A-Jet workshop is officially open. I can just imagine the PowerPoint presentations. Step 1, acquire $7 billion. Step 2, navigate red tape like it's a scavenger hunt. Step 3, finally get to the fun part where we build stuff. They're probably preparing for a military version of Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, where they bulldoze everything in sight and then hope that by planting a few flowers, we forget they just built a fortress. Keep your hard hats close, folks. It's going to be a wild ride.
So, Starmer is warning us about rising tensions in alliances. What's your take on that?
Well, it's about as surprising as finding out that a cat can knock over a glass of water. Tensions in alliances are like that annoying fly buzzing around your head. They're always there, and no matter how hard you try to swat them away, they just keep coming back. Starmer's basically saying, hey folks, we can't just stand here like deer in headlights, while the world feels like a chaotic Thanksgiving dinner, where everyone's arguing over the last slice of pumpkin pie. It's time for urgent action. But let's be real. What does that even mean? Are we talking about sending a strongly worded email, or a rescue mission to save those poor alliances from impending doom?
Do you think the alliances can really fix their issues? Or are we just in for a roller coaster of drama?
Honestly, it feels like watching a soap opera where the characters keep making the same mistakes over and over, but somehow, we're all still tuning in for the next episode. Alliances fixing their issues? That's about as likely as finding a unicorn in your backyard. I mean, these are the same folks who can't agree whether pineapple belongs on pizza. So, fixing international relations? Yeah, good luck with that. It's less a roller coaster of drama and more like a merry-go-round of confusion. Round and round we go, and we're all just getting dizzy.
What do you think will happen if no action is taken?
Oh, if we sit around twiddling our thumbs while tensions simmer like a pot of spaghetti sauce left on the stove, we might just find ourselves in a giant global game of hot potato. With no one willing to catch it, it's only a matter of time before it explodes in our faces. You see, ignoring these tensions is like ignoring that one friend who always shows up uninvited. Eventually, they're going to outstay their welcome, and when they do, it's not going to be pretty. So yes, if we don't act, we can expect this to turn into a spectacular circus act, complete with acrobats of diplomacy, lions of hostility, and maybe even a clown or two.
Starmer's call for urgent action, could that mean anything drastic?
Oh, drastic? You mean beyond just a mild case of awkward silence at the next summit? I mean, at this point, we might need a diplomatic intervention that involves a lot of cupcakes, heartfelt speeches, and perhaps some interpretive dance to really get the message across. I can only imagine the delegates awkwardly shuffling around as they try to negotiate over frosting flavors. But in all seriousness, if Starmer's talking urgent action, it could range from a flurry of meetings that could rival the busiest Starbucks on a Monday morning to actually sending some diplomats to have a heart-to-heart over a nice cup of tea. Drastic? I'd call it more like extreme couponing at the grocery store. You have to really dig deep for the good deals.
Do you think the media is overhyping the situation, or is the tension really that serious?
Oh, the media? Overhyping? Now there's a shocker. That's like saying fish like water. When it comes to tension, they're like a kid in a candy store, hyping it up like it's the end of the world just for a few extra clicks and ratings. Meanwhile, we're all sitting here wondering if we need to stock up on canned goods or just binge-watch some sitcoms as distractions. Sure, there is actually some serious tension, but the media loves to spice it up like it's a cooking show where everything is on fire. So, while there might be a simmering pot of trouble, the media is definitely throwing in some extra chili powder just to keep us on our toes.
What do you think the public can do in response to these warnings?
Ah, the public. A delightful bunch with opinions on everything from politics to how long a slice of toast should take to pop up. Honestly, the best thing the public can do is probably to just stay informed. Think of it as trying to avoid stepping on a Lego in the dark. We can't fix the alliances, but we can sure make our voices heard. Whether it's online petitions or yelling at our smartphones during the news, every little bit counts. And if all else fails, we can always take up knitting or start a gardening club, because let's face it, who doesn't love a good tomato plant when the world feels like it's turning upside down?
So, we have this amazing news story about a Russian woman casually walking with a rocket launcher. What on earth was she thinking?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday, right? I mean, who doesn't wander around town with a rocket launcher? It's practically a fashion statement. Oh, it's just a museum exhibit, she says, as if she's showcasing a vintage handbag instead of an explosive device. Can you imagine her at a dinner party? I brought a salad and my rocket launcher. Hope that's cool. And let's not forget the police assuring everyone there's nothing to worry about. Come see it, she'll give you a tour. Sure, guys, let me just grab my popcorn and a helmet.
What does this say about public perception in Russia, or even globally?
Well, it says that alarm bells may just be a fun little jingle in Russia. I mean, why worry about a rocket launcher when you can just think of it as a really, really over-the-top selfie stick. Global perception is probably somewhere between, "Are they serious?" and "This is why we don't let them host the Olympics." Imagine the tourists. "Welcome to Russia. Try the vodka, dodge the missiles." It's like a twisted version of Russian roulette, but instead of bullets, you just get a blast of humor. If you survive the shock, of course.
How do you think the authorities should handle a situation like this?
Well, clearly, they should set up a welcoming committee with hot cocoa and marshmallows. "Welcome, Miss Rocket Launcher. Would you like a tour of our fine city? Just stay away from the windows." You see, playing it cool is the new black in crisis management. Reporters should prepare for the inevitable press conference. "Ladies and gentlemen, rocket launchers are now an official part of our heritage. Just like vodka and bears. If you see someone with one, please resist the urge to panic. Instead, ask for a selfie. Because nothing says, 'I love my country' like a photobomb with a high-powered weapon."
Do you think there's a risk this could inspire copycats?
Oh, absolutely. You know there's at least one other person out there right now thinking, "If she can do it, why can't I?" Next thing you know, we'll have a parade of folks strutting through the town with all sorts of ridiculous weapons. "Look, I'm the new Picasso, but instead of paint, I've got a bazooka." It's like a wacky game show. Who can escalate public safety issues the fastest? Why not just replace the rockets with piñatas? Way less messy, guaranteed laughs, and no need for police escorts.
What might this incident teach us about safety regulations?
Well, it's clear that safety regulations might need a little tweak, or perhaps a complete overhaul. Call it a remake of a classic. I mean, if a woman can stroll down that street with a warhead, and no one bats an eye, we're probably setting the bar a tad low. Next, we'll have kids riding bicycles with grenade attachments, for added fun. How about we invest in some new safety protocols? If you see a rocket launcher, maybe just don't ask for a photo, alright? But hey, let's not ruin a good thing. Maybe they'll start selling rockets at souvenir shops. Same aisle as the Matryoshka dolls.
So what's next for Galina Vasilyeva? Any predictions?
Oh, Galina will be the new star of the Russian Oddities tour. She'll get an agent, sign a deal with a reality TV channel, and before you know it, she's a household name. Tune in next week to see Galina at a museum opening, casually walking in with a tank. She'll probably start a blog, "Life with a Rocket Launcher, a day in the life of a weapon-exhibiting woman." And let's not forget the endorsement deals. Career goals, folks. Forget the 9-to-5 grind, just grab a rocket launcher and start giving tours. Who needs a LinkedIn profile when you can have viral fame?
So, can you believe it? Trump's midterm setbacks could lead to him putting the pressure on NATO and reducing support for Ukraine. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching a toddler throw a tantrum because they lost their favorite toy. Instead of just moving on, Trump might just decide to turn up the heat on NATO and Europe like it's a sauna in the middle of winter. You see, when things don't go his way, he doesn't sulk in a corner. He plays the blame game like he's in a championship match. And reducing support for Ukraine? That's like taking the cookies from the jar and then complaining about a lack of dessert. Honestly, I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
What do you think could be the reaction from NATO if Trump decides to increase pressure on them?
Oh, I imagine NATO will be like a deer caught in headlights, just frozen and hoping this nightmare ends soon. It's like being invited to a party where you know you're just going to end up in an awkward conversation with that one guy who keeps talking about how great he is. If Trump starts ramping up the pressure, I'm sure NATO leaders will have to play a game of political dodgeball, trying to avoid those emotional grenades he likes to throw around.
Do you think this could lead to a serious shift in America's position on NATO?
Absolutely. If this were a soap opera, it would be titled as the NATO turns. Picture it. America's position on NATO getting tossed around like a salad at a buffet. No one knows what's going to land on their plate. A serious shift might just turn Washington into that awkward cousin at the family reunion who everyone tries to avoid. It's a recipe for political chaos, and the only things missing is popcorn.
And what does this mean for Ukraine, given the situation?
Oh, Ukraine must be feeling like they're on a roller coaster. First, there's support, and then, suddenly, it's like a ride malfunction. It's like trying to keep your balance on a seesaw with someone who keeps jumping off. You never know when you're going to crash. If Trump decides to back off, it could leave them feeling even more isolated than that one friend who always shows up to parties uninvited. Not a good look, if you ask me.
What are the chances this could happen ahead of the 2028 presidential elections?
Oh, it's as likely as finding a unicorn at a petting zoo. With Trump, it's all about the theatrics, darling. You know he loves the drama, and what better way to stoke the flames than to shake things up just before an election? It's like he's got a recipe for chaos, and he's just waiting to throw in that final ingredient. Who doesn't love a political soap opera that keeps us all at the edge of our seats, right?
In your opinion, how should European leaders prepare for this possible shakeup?
Well, they might want to invest in a strong supply of ice packs for all the heads they'll be shaking in disbelief. Seriously. They should probably be brushing up on their diplomacy skills, as if they are training for the Olympics. Think of it as a political dance-off. They need to show off their moves to keep the rhythm with a potentially unpredictable partner. And let's not forget a good supply of stress balls. Because if Trump starts pulling his shenanigans, they'll need a way to cope with the anxiety of holding on to their sanity.
So, Bahrain's armed forces are gearing up for live-fire naval exercises. What do you think could possibly go wrong with that?
Well, you know, live fire exercises have a way of turning just practicing into oops, I sunk it, faster than a kid can spill grape juice at a birthday party. I mean, sure, they probably have a checklist longer than my arm, but who doesn't love a little chaos mixed in with their military drills? It's like adding hot sauce to ice cream. Might just spice things up or leave you regretting your life choices. In the grand scheme of things, watching a naval drill could end up being like watching a game of Jenga. One wrong move, and the whole thing collapses spectacularly.
What do you think the locals must be thinking watching these exercises?
Oh, I can only imagine the conversations happening at the local coffee shop. Hey Ahmed, did you hear the sounds of artillery this morning? No big deal, just our Navy trying to take out a few seagulls. They're probably just getting their practice in for when they inevitably mistake a rubber duck for a hostile submarine. And here, I thought my neighbor's dogs barking were annoying. The locals must either be shaking their heads in disbelief or preparing popcorn for the show. Who needs reality TV when you have live naval exercises that promise thrills, spills, and maybe some accidental fireworks?
Do you think the timing of these exercises raises any eyebrows?
Oh, absolutely. Conducting live fire exercises at 3 a.m. is basically saying, surprise, it's time for an impromptu wake-up call. But this time with cannon fire. It's like throwing a surprise party for yourself. But instead of balloons, you have missiles. And while everyone else is trying to figure out if they should hit the snooze button or run for cover, the military is probably just trying to get their rehearsal in before the sun rises. Nothing says professional like practicing at the hour when even the roaches are sleeping.
How does this fit into the bigger picture of international relations in the region?
Ah, the delicate dance of international relations, like trying to tango with a cactus. Bahrain flexing its military muscles during these exercises is akin to a toddler showing off their drawing skills, hoping the adults will pay attention before realizing they drew all over the walls instead of the paper. It's a strategic reminder, hey everyone, we have weapons, and we're not afraid to use them, unless it's against our own paperwork. The neighbors must be wondering whether to take notes or just invest in earplugs.
What would you predict as the outcome of these naval exercises?
Predicting the outcome? That's easy. It'll either be a resounding success, complete with high fives and medals for everyone, or a total disaster, complete with "who's going to tell the admiral?" moments. Much like a group of friends trying to assemble IKEA furniture without a manual, there's bound to be miscommunication and some unforeseen oopsie-daisy moments. The sailors could potentially set a record for most friendly fire incidents in a single morning, or just whip out their smartphones to live stream the whole debacle. Either way, it's bound to be entertaining.
What do you think the training benefits are for the Bahrain Armed Forces?
The training benefits? Oh, it's like taking a free crash course on how not to accidentally blow up your own boats and possibly neighboring ones too. It's all about practicing teamwork in the midst of chaos, where the real skill lies in knowing how to yell "man overboard" instead of "oops" when things go sideways. Plus, it's a perfect way to bond over shared trauma. Nothing says camaraderie quite like a group of soldiers who can laugh about dodging shrapnel together. The more they practice, the better they get at making sure their drills don't turn into a full-blown circus.
So, in breaking news, we hear that Russian air defense managed to destroy 507 Ukrainian fixed-wing drones in just one day. Does this mean they now have a $1 million drone fishing license?
Well, it looks like the Russian air defense is really committed to their new hobby of drone hunting. I mean, 507 drones downed in one day? That's not just a quota. That's like saying, forget flying kites. We're here to shoot down expensive toys from the sky. It's like an air-themed carnival game, except instead of winning a giant teddy bear, you get a smoldering wreckage of high-tech engineering. Who knew air defense would turn into the latest extreme sport?
Do you think this shows a significant shift in the balance of power in the region?
Oh, absolutely. When you're able to take out drones at a faster rate than people can binge-watch their favorite shows, you know they're doing something right. It's like a game of whack-a-mole, but instead of moles, it's very expensive drones flying off the shelf. It's a clear message. Don't bring your high-tech toys to a gunfight unless you want them turned into scrap metal. Kind of makes you wonder if they'll start offering drone hunting tours to tourists looking for a thrill.
What do you think the response from Ukraine will be after such a massive loss of drones?
Well, I'm guessing their next press release might read something like, "Hey, we didn't really need those drones anyway. We were just testing out new frisbee designs." But in all seriousness, it could lead to them doubling down on their drone game, or maybe they'll just start sending birthday cards to Russia. Congrats on your air defense achievement. Next time, let's play a game of catch. Oh wait, you keep catching our drones. Expect a flurry of innovation to keep the airspace interesting.
How does this event affect the overall military strategies of both countries?
Well, it's like chess, but with way more drama and less genteel behavior. Russia might be feeling like the reigning grandmaster right now, but let's be honest, it's a chess game where every piece is a drone struggling to find a decent parking spot in the sky. And Ukraine? They might be drafting up new strategies faster than a high schooler writing an essay the night before it's due. It's a classic dance of strategy. 1 minute it's all about the air support, The next it's about who can outsmart the other while dodging missile fire like it's a game of dodgeball.
Any thoughts on what this means for international relations moving forward?
Oh sure, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Just kidding. This is more like an awkward dinner party where someone keeps bringing up politics and everyone else is trying to avoid eye contact. In the grand scheme, it's going to raise tensions like a pot of water on high heat. Nations watching this spectacle are probably dusting off their popcorn to see who throws the next rhetorical punch. It's basically like watching busy neighbors, but instead of quarrels over fences, it's about who has the best aerial defense.
With all this action in the air, do you think there will be technological advancements coming from these developments?
Oh, absolutely. If nothing else, it's like a live science fair where everyone's trying to outdo each other. Expect a surge in innovation, like the tech equivalent of a cooking show, where everyone is trying to make the most outrageous dish. Drones will likely get a makeover, maybe even high-tech invisibility cloaks or advanced drone-scented candles. Because why not distract the enemy with delightful aromas while you're at it? It's an age of creativity under pressure. And we're all here for the popcorn.
So, in breaking news, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has unveiled a controversial new map claiming control over the strategic Hormuz Strait. What on earth could possibly have inspired them to do that?
Well, isn't that just adorable? It's like watching a kid draw a crayon masterpiece on the wall and proclaiming it a national treasure. I mean, really, what's next? A finger painting of the Middle East? Maybe they think if they draw it, it will magically become true. The Hormuz Strait is like the world's busiest highway for oil tankers, arguably a key spot for global energy. But hey, why let facts get in the way of a good map, right?
How do you think this move will impact international relations, especially with neighboring countries?
Oh, you know how it goes. This is sure to stir the pot. Imagine the neighbors peering over the fence and seeing that map, clutching their pearls in shock. It's like Iran just invented a new game of Monopoly where they own all the properties, and everyone else is left to rent. I can already hear the UAE asking, "Excuse me, did we agree to this new rule?" Honestly, it's like a toddler claiming the entire playground without asking anyone if they want to share. Spoiler alert, they don't.
What are the implications of the new boundaries they've drawn on the map?
Oh sure, let's just redefine borders like they're a set of flexible guidelines. It's like trying to play hopscotch on a moving train. Good luck with that. They're basically saying, hey, we control the water too. It's not just about land, we're going for world domination of the wet stuff. But really, it creates a recipe for tension. Because nothing screams let's be friends like an unsolicited map that outlines who gets to fish where, right?
Do you think this action aligns with Iran's broader strategy or agenda?
Oh, absolutely. This fits right into their "look at us, we matter" strategy. It's like trying to grab attention in a crowded room by yelling, "Hey, I'm important too." Except in this case, they're shouting with a map and a megaphone. It's as if they feel the need to remind everyone that they're not just a footnote in the history books. It's like they decided to spice things up by claiming the hottest real estate in the region. Nothing says diplomacy like a bold new claim on a strategic choke point.
What might be the response from global powers regarding this map claim?
Oh, I can only imagine. Probably a combination of eye-rolling and frantic phone calls. It's like when someone shows up at a party with a ridiculous costume and everyone else is just trying to figure out how to handle it. The U.S. and its allies are likely going to furrow their brows and engage in some serious, let's talk about this negotiations. It's like dealing with an unpredictable toddler. Sure, you want to be diplomatic, but also, can you please stop drawing on the walls? Global powers will probably re-evaluate their map-watching strategies now, because apparently, Iran has taken this whole draw-your-own-boundaries thing a bit too literally.
Lastly, does Iran's new mapping strategy suggest a potential escalation of military presence in the region?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing we know about claiming territory, it's that it usually comes with a side of tanks and a dash of military posturing. It's like announcing you're hosting a barbecue while secretly assembling an army of grillers ready to take over the neighborhood potluck. And let's be real, they're not just marking territory on a map for fun. It's part of their plan to make sure everyone knows they are the big kids on the block. You can bet your bottom dollar that this will lead to more military muscle flexing in the region. Because why not turn the Hormuz Strait into the ultimate who's got the biggest army contest, right?
So, it seems a crocodile in South Africa has turned into a rather infamous dinner guest by swallowing a human. Any thoughts on this horrifying revelation?
Well, when you think of a peaceful afternoon by the river, you expect to see kids playing, maybe a picnic or two, not a crocodile pulling off some gruesome version of Guess Who. But here we are. It's like the crocodile took a bite out of life a bit too literally. Who knew that when crocs said they were hungry for a little adventure, it meant a full-course meal? Not exactly the cuisine one would hope to find at a five-star restaurant, am I right? But hey, at least now we know where not to take our snacks on a sunny day.
What do you think led to the crocodile being euthanized after the discovery?
Oh, it's a classic case of, you are what you eat. Or in this case, you are who you digest. It's like the crocodile was having a very awkward and detrimental all-you-can-eat buffet with a side of oops, I did it again. I'm guessing authorities felt it was less about crocodile etiquette and more about public safety. I mean, would you want a crocodile with a taste for humans lurking around the playground? Talk about a jaws drops moment for the kids. So in a twist worthy of a soap opera, the croc met its match, all while making us reflect on our dining choices? Or perhaps it was just a case of really bad luck at Feed the Crocodile Day.
What's the deal with the forensic experts stepping in for DNA testing? Is there a crocodile crime scene unit now?
I never thought we'd see the day when forensic experts would be doing DNA tests on crocodile leftovers. It's like they've turned into the modern-day sleuths of the animal kingdom. These professionals are probably more trained for a crime scene than Detective Sherlock himself. Can you imagine them in lab coats, looking through tiny crocodile remains and going, well, this is definitely not a typical day at the office. They might even need a new badge. Crocodile CSI Crocodile Scene Investigation. I mean, who needs reality TV when you've got real-life drama unfolding at a riverbank?
How are people reacting to this incident? Are there crocodile safety classes popping up?
Oh, you better believe it. This is the perfect catalyst for a new line of self-defense courses titled, How to Survive a Crocodile Encounter While Trying to Eat Your Lunch. I can just picture it now. Terrified tourists gathered in a seminar room, being instructed on how to give a crocodile the you touch my sandwich, I touch your face stare. It's all fun and games until someone loses a limb, right? Meanwhile, locals must be eyeing the river with the same suspicion one reserves for the last piece of cake at a party. Everyone's thinking, oh great, now I can't even enjoy a quiet river walk without checking for hunger pangs in the reptilian population. This is 2023, and apparently, crocodiles are now on the menu.
Do you think this discovery will lead to stricter regulations regarding crocodile habitats?
Well, if this doesn't scream time for some regulations, I don't know what does. Picture this: crocodile zoning laws. No crocs beyond this point signs popping up everywhere. It's as if we might soon need a crocodile bouncer at every riverbank. Sorry mate, you can't enter unless you're wearing a sign that says, "No humans allowed." Governments love a good scare story to pounce on for legislation. They'll probably throw in mandatory crocodile safety lectures, right between recycling and traffic laws. Who knew that the crocodile was not just an ancient predator, but also a potential poster child for regulations, right? Let's just hope they don't have a craving for elected office next.
What does this incident say about the relationship between humans and wildlife?
Ah, the classic dance of human versus nature. It's like watching a dramatic tango where everyone ends up stepping on each other's toes. This incident is a reality check that maybe we should rethink the whole nature is our playground attitude. You see, we tend to think we can just stroll by the riverbanks and have a friendly chat with the wildlife. Spoiler alert. Crocodiles aren't exactly the best conversationalists, mainly because they're more inclined towards chomping than chatting. This situation kind of highlights that we might need to respect the boundaries a bit more. I mean, want to see some cute wildlife? Visit the zoo. Leave the riverbanks for the crocs and their unfortunate dietary choices. A little respect would go a long way in avoiding a live news report on dinner gone wrong.
So, Naim Qassem from Hezbollah claims there's no ceasefire and that Israel's aggression is still on the menu. What's your take on that?
Ah yes, the classic "we're still at war" declaration. It's like when you leave a family dinner but your relatives just won't stop arguing about politics. You think it'll end, but oh no, they're just warming up. With Qassem, it's less of a ceasefire and more of a "how many times can we break a supposed ceasefire before it becomes an Olympic sport? I mean, over 10,000 violations? That's not a ceasefire. That's just an extended episode of keeping up with the catastrophes." And let's not forget about the no buffer zone statement. Sounds like a bad house party, where you know the bouncers aren't doing their job. It's chaos, folks.
Hezbollah mentions the deployment of the Lebanese army in the south. What does that signify in this scenario?
Oh, deploying the Lebanese army. It's like putting up a wet paint sign and expecting people to stop touching the wall. They think they're making a statement, but in reality, it's more of a "we're here, but don't get too close" situation. You know? Like that awkward relative you don't want to engage with at family gatherings, but they keep insisting on being part of the conversation. It's all about playing tactical hide and seek with a hint of theatrical drama. I can already see the news headlines. Lebanese army enters stage left. Cue the tension. It's all very on brand for the region.
Naim Qassem also mentioned that the resistance forces have adopted tactics suitable for the current situation. What might those tactics look like?
Ah, the elusive adaptation to the current situation. It's like when you realize your Wi-Fi is down and you start doing things the old-fashioned way, like actually talking to people. I imagine their tactics are less about traditional warfare and more about being the MacGyver of conflict. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Maybe they're employing the surprise guest tactic, popping up when least expected, like that one friend who always shows up uninvited but somehow makes it the party of the year. Or perhaps they're opting for elaborate traps a la Home Alone, but with a lot more at stake. Either way, I'm sure it looks good in a war movie.
Israel's alleged aggression continues unabated, according to Qassem. Is there any historical context we should be aware of?
Historical context? Oh boy, grab the popcorn. This is a saga that's been going on longer than your average soap opera. You know, it's a bit like watching a never-ending sequel of a bad action flick. The plot thickens, but somehow the characters never learn anything. Israel and Hezbollah have been in this tango for decades. we're talking about more plot twists than a daytime TV show. Every few years, they throw in a new season called Escalation, featuring the same characters, just with fancier weapons and hotter tempers. It's like they've got a love-hate relationship that keeps getting weirder and more complicated. Honestly, if they could just agree to disagree over coffee instead of missiles, we might all be better off.
With all this tension, what do you think the average person should take away from Qasim's statements?
Well, the average person should probably stock up on popcorn, because this drama isn't going anywhere fast. Seriously though, it's a reminder that the world can be a bit of a circus, complete with clowns, acrobats, and the occasional fire-breather. Qasim's statements are like a loud alarm bell, warning us that, while we might be binge-watching our favorite series, real-life tensions are bubbling over just off-screen. It's a chance for us to engage in the global conversation, or at the very least, to know when to turn the news down and keep scrolling through cute cat videos instead. Because let's be honest, those will always be more uplifting.
In summary, how do you see the future playing out, given these statements from Hezbollah and the situation on the ground?
Oh, it's anyone's guess, really. It's like trying to predict the weather when all the forecasts are in another language. I mean, we could be on the brink of a breakthrough, or we could dive headfirst into another round of chaos. It's like a suspense thriller where you're just waiting for the plot twist that makes you yell at your TV. If history has taught us anything, it's that this roller coaster ride has more ups and downs than a squirrel on caffeine. So, buckle up, folks. We're in for a wild ride, and don't forget to keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because anything can happen when geopolitics is at play.
So, Zelensky is making urgent diplomatic moves, while Canada joins the party with $200 million for Ukraine. What do you make of this whole situation?
Ah, yes, nothing says we're in this together quite like a hefty $200 million gift from Canada, right? It's like giving your friend a really expensive birthday gift, while you're both trying to figure out how to bail them out of a sticky situation. Zelensky is basically juggling flaming swords while negotiating peace. Talk about a multitasker. And let's not forget the backdrop of the European Political Community Summit. I mean, who doesn't want to hash out serious diplomatic talks in a brilliantly chaotic environment? It's all very let's throw money at the problem and hope the smoke clears.
What do you think about Zelensky's comments on the strength of Ukraine's position? Are we looking at a shift here?
Oh, absolutely. Zelensky's comments are like that friendly nudge from your buddy who just won a massive poker hand and is feeling invincible. It's as if he's saying, hey, folks, we're not just hanging in there like a cat on a tree branch, we're actually starting to claw our way up. It's all about optimism, isn't it? And who doesn't love a good underdog story? I mean, this is the equivalent of David getting a new slingshot and maybe a couple of well-placed wishes from fate. But hey, let's hope this optimism leads us somewhere other than just more rounds of drinks.
What role do you think the US is playing in these negotiations, according to Zelensky?
Oh, the US plays the role of the cool older sibling in this whole drama. You know, the one who swoops in with wisdom and, naturally, a big checkbook at hand. Zelensky's practically saying, hey, America, can you put on your superhero cape and save the day? Because, let's be honest, sometimes it feels like the US is the kid at the playground who decides when the game is over by calling time out. It's fascinating how negotiations can make countries feel like they're playing a game of chess with invisible pieces. You just hope they don't knock the board over in frustration.
What do you think about the situation in Iran impacting these diplomatic discussions?
Well, you know how they say, when it rains it pours? Well, in this case, it seems like it's pouring in buckets. Iran's situation is like the chaotic friend crashing your calm dinner party, turning it into a soap opera. Zelensky is trying to navigate through a diplomatic minefield, while simultaneously dodging the unexpected curveballs from Iran. I mean, who would have thought that an international conflict could be so inconvenient? It's like trying to have a nice chat at a family reunion while Uncle Bob is going on a rant about politics in the corner. Let's just hope the weather clears up soon.
With Canada stepping up militarily, what does that mean for European defense capabilities?
Oh, it's like Canada is deciding to flex its muscles and show it can do more than just brew maple syrup and hockey. By stepping up with military aid, they're basically saying, all right, Europe, let's put those anti-missile plans on the table. Who's coming for a round of defense strategy? It's like the kids at school pooling their lunch money to buy a collective pizza, but in this case, it's a whole lot more serious and involves missiles. One can only hope Europe doesn't end up like the kid who eats his pizza slice too quickly and then has to deal with the consequences.
Do you think Zelensky's strategy will actually have a long-term impact on the war in Ukraine?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Or in this case, the $200 million one. Zelensky's strategy is like trying to build a house of cards in a windstorm, challenging yet somehow hopeful. If all goes well, it could lead to some real change, and Ukraine can finally breathe a little easier. But let's be real, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's like planting a garden in a drought and hoping for the best while the weather seems to have different plans. It's a rocky road ahead, but fingers crossed, they've got a solid map.
So, it looks like Iran's Revolutionary Navy has released a pretty controversial map showing their strategic control over the Hormuz Strait region. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, isn't this just a lovely addition to the chaotic world map collection? It's like they decided to show off their neighborhood like a kid, boasting about their exclusive treehouse. I mean, who doesn't want to control a vital shipping lane that's practically the highway for oil? It's like saying, hey everyone, welcome to Iran. We control the parking lot for the biggest pool party you'll never be invited to. Quite the power play, really. I just hope they don't start charging tolls.
What do you think prompted Iran to reveal this map now?
Ah, timing is everything, isn't it? It's as if Iran woke up one day and thought, you know what would really get everyone talking? A flashy map that says, we're the gatekeepers of an oil-rich strait. I mean, who wouldn't want to drop a bomb, figuratively speaking, on their neighbors, right? It's almost like showing off your latest tech gadget at a dinner party when you know everyone else is still using flip phones. Look what I can control, everyone. Jealous yet? It's all about that perception of power, and let's face it, nothing says look at me quite like a controversial map.
What kind of reactions do you think this map will generate globally?
Oh, I can already hear the collective gasps from around the world. It'll be like watching a soap opera. Everyone's sitting on the edge of their seats, popcorn in hand, waiting for the next dramatic twist. Some countries will be throwing shade, while others will try to make alliances faster than a high school clique. It's the geopolitical equivalent of dropping a "who wore it best" photo at the reunion. It's bound to stir the pot, and who doesn't love a little international tension? It's like adding a dash of hot sauce to your boring dinner. Sure, it could spice things up, or you might just end up crying in the bathroom.
Could there be any military implications from this map's release?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a pretty picture. It's like a giant neon sign saying, hey, look at our toys. Imagine a kid building a fort and daring everyone to come near. This could lead to military posturing that's as subtle as a bull in a china shop. Other nations might beef up their presence in the region, and tensions could escalate faster than my morning coffee consumption when I have a deadline. I mean, when you've got a map like that, it's just begging for someone to challenge it. It could be a dramatic standoff worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, The Strait Wars, Episode 4, Revenge of the Navy.
How might this map affect oil markets?
Oh, you can bet the oil markets are going to react like a cat on a hot tin roof. One peek at this map, and traders will be hitting the panic button harder than a kid who just heard the ice cream truck jingle. Any sign of instability in the Hormuz Strait could send oil prices skyrocketing faster than my blood pressure when I see my bank statement. It's like a game of Twister, only with barrels of crude and a lot less fun. So, if you're into investing, now might be the time to buy a little extra popcorn because this show is just getting started.
Lastly, is there anything we can learn from this situation?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing we can learn, it's that in geopolitics, just like in a game of chess, the players are always making moves even if they sometimes look like they're just pawing at the board, hoping for the best. This map is a reminder that power dynamics are as unpredictable as my cat's mood. One minute, you think you've got it all figured out, and the next, someone's flipping the board and you're left trying to pick up the pieces. It just goes to show that in the world of international relations, everyone is like a teenager at a party. Everyone wants to be the center of attention, but nobody knows what will happen when the music stops.
So, the US troop withdrawal from Germany has left EU leaders a bit shocked. What's the scoop on that?
Well, when you have a surprise party, the last thing you want is for the guest of honor to show up a week early. US officials seem to have taken a page from that playbook as they announce a withdrawal of 5,000 troops from Germany, catching EU leaders off guard like a cat meeting a cucumber. Apparently, we were all supposed to be prepared for this, but it turns out the timing was less dinner bell and more fire alarm. It's like the US is saying to Europe, "We love you, but hey, we're going home to binge-watch Netflix. Good luck with your global tensions."
EU foreign ministers are feeling the heat. How's that affecting their diplomatic game?
Oh, absolutely. You can almost hear the collective gasp echoing through the halls of Brussels. It's like they were all dressed up for a prom that just got cancelled. Awkward, isn't it? They used to count on those American troops as their bodyguards at the diplomatic dance, and now they're left with a bunch of awkward teenagers shuffling in the corner. Nothing says trustworthy alliance quite like your big brother packing up and heading home while you're still figuring out what to wear to the party.
What does this mean for NATO and the dynamics between the US and Europe?
Well, if I had $1 for every time someone said, "NATO is stronger together," I could probably pay a therapist for all the emotional distress this withdrawal is causing. It's like US and Europe were at a couples therapy session, and suddenly one partner decided to ghost the other. The remaining members are left trying to figure out who's going to cover the rent, or, in this case, military defense. You can imagine their group chats are blowing up. "Hey, does anyone have a spare tank for next week's conflict?"
Any idea why this withdrawal is happening now? Is it a strategic move?
Oh, of course. Because why wouldn't you pivot your military strategy during a global crisis when everyone is already on edge, right? It's like deciding to close all the exits during a fire drill, when things are already a little too heated. Maybe they just realized that sending troops is like inviting people over to watch a movie, and the US is simply tired of watching the same drama unfold. Who needs Netflix when you can just streamline your military presence to focus on more pressing matters, like avoiding all international confrontations altogether?
What are some potential consequences of this unexpected withdrawal?
Well, buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Imagine trying to run a three-legged race while one of your partners decides they're done and just wanders off. The EU now has to step up its game, as NATO's collective defense just took a collective coffee break. They may need to start taking up yoga, or something equally zen, to stretch their resources à la survival of the fittest. As if managing an economic crisis wasn't enough, now they might have to fend off foes with just a few less troops and a fistful of snacks.
How are the public and media reacting to this move?
Well, you can imagine the headlines are practically salivating over this drama. It's like the latest season of a reality show nobody wanted but everyone's glued to anyway. You've got think pieces, hot takes, and a bunch of armchair generals who suddenly know exactly how to solve global tensions from their couches. The public is probably feeling a mix of confusion and amusement, like finding out the magician's assistant actually just walked off stage and no one knows where she went. Forget about the troops. The real show is watching how this unfolds in the media circus.
So it seems like Iran is schooling the US on Uno while the political stakes are rising. What do you make of this bizarre twist?
Oh, it's like watching a kindergarten class where the kid in the corner suddenly decides he's the expert on advanced calculus. I mean, when did Iran become the card shark of international diplomacy? It's almost like they looked at the US fumbling around with its Uno cards and thought, hey, let's take them to school. Maybe Kushner should have spent less time at fancy parties and more time playing board games with his kids. If those kids can outplay a former presidential advisor, I think we need to question our entire educational system.
Do you think replacing Jared Kushner with kids is a feasible strategy for the White House?
Feasible? It's downright poetic. I mean, when your political strategy starts resembling a game of hide-and-seek with toddlers, it's high time for a change. Just imagine the press conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special announcement from our new Chief Policy Advisor, Tommy, aged 8. His radical approach is to simply draw 4 and tell everyone to deal with it. Who needs diplomacy when you have a child's logic at play? Maybe we should just send them to the G7 and let them play some games. I'd pay to see Macron try to handle that.
What do you think this signals about US-Iran relations moving forward?
Oh boy, if the art of diplomacy is now being played like a game of Uno, we might be in for a show. I can already hear the diplomatic cables. We regret to inform you that we've drawn a reverse card. Please send help. Honestly, this could either mean we're heading for an unprecedented thaw in relations, or just a really embarrassing family game night where nobody knows the rules. I mean, who doesn't love a good game of who can yell the loudest? I fully expect the next summit to be held in a bouncy's castle, assuming we get the invite.
What's your take on the absurdity of political leaders resorting to children's games?
Absurdity? It's like watching a Shakespearean tragedy morph into a Saturday morning cartoon. Can you picture world leaders passionately discussing foreign policy over a game of Candyland? The stakes could not be higher. Instead of missiles and sanctions, we're debating whether to go past go or collect $200. I can't wait for future historians to analyze these moments. They'll probably label it the Great Uno Debacle of 2023. It's all fun and games until someone ends up with a draw 4 card and a national crisis.
How do you think the media will respond to these developments?
Oh, the media will swoop in like vultures at a buffet, dissecting every move on the political chessboard, or should I say, card table. I can already hear the headlines. Kushner's kids call for diplomacy. Adults warned to stay in the room. We'll have pundits analyzing every draw, every skip. It'll be like a soap opera, with less drama and more colorful cards. I half expect someone to write a think piece comparing Iran's approach to Uno as the new great American novel. Honestly, if they can drag this into a reality show, I'll pour myself a drink and get the popcorn ready.
What are the implications if this turns out to be more than just a joke?
If this is more than just a punchline, we might be looking at a new era of political engagement, where the only metric of success is how many games of Uno you win. Imagine the next presidential debate featuring candidates arguing over who draws first. It'll be a political landscape where teamwork involves high fives and a lot of "I let you win." If that's the new normal, I can only assume that my resume is due for an update. Expert in diplomacy, proficient in card games, and a master at deflecting responsibility to my teammates. It's about to get wild.
So, let's talk about those oil prices. It seems like the paper market is trailing behind the physical oil by a shocking 30%. What's your take on that?
Oh, just your average day in the financial world where paper is valued more than actual oil. It's like saying your crayon drawing of a Ferrari is worth more than the actual car parked in your driveway. But hey, who needs reality when you can have a little make-believe market? It's like people are playing Monopoly with oil, and I'm just waiting for the banker to declare a free parking jackpot while we're all stuck in traffic on the geopolitical highway.
And what do you think about the current geopolitical tensions affecting these prices?
Geopolitical tensions, the spice of life. It's like a reality show where everyone's trying to outdo each other, and the ratings are through the roof. You've got countries throwing shade like it's an Olympic sport, and here we are, sitting in our living rooms, popcorn in hand, waiting for the next dramatic twist. But what's more surprising? That the oil prices are acting like it's still 1980? Or that people are still trying to find logic in all of this? It's a classic case of, let's all panic and hope for the best.
How does this disconnect between paper oil and physical oil impact everyday consumers?
Oh, it's delightful. Imagine waking up one day and finding out that your morning coffee costs $10 because some guy in a suit decided to play poker with commodities. It's like a magic trick, except instead of a rabbit, you pull out an empty wallet. So yes, while you're out here counting pennies, the investors are busy counting their jet skis. Because who needs gas when you can just float your problems away? It's a real-life drama where consumers are left shouting, "Can I please just pay for my gas with monopoly money?"
What should consumers do in the face of these fluctuating oil prices?
Well, they could take a page out of the survivalist handbook and start stockpiling oil in their basements. Just imagine it. Hoarders. Oil edition. But really the best advice is probably just to invest in a good bicycle, or maybe some extra pairs of running shoes. At this rate, we'll need them to escape to the grocery store. If prices keep climbing, like an overzealous kid on a sugar high. Last I checked, pedaling is free, even if my legs disagree.
Do you see any end in sight for this volatility?
Oh sure, right after pigs fly and I win the lottery. Honestly, if I had a crystal ball, I'd probably have a better chance at being a psychic than a market analyst. But looking at the chaos, I'd say we're in for a long ride. Like a roller coaster designed by someone who just went through a midlife crisis. So buckle up, folks. The only guarantee in this ride is that it's going to get bumpy, and we might need those running shoes after all.
What final thoughts do you have regarding these oil market shenanigans?
Just remember, whether it's oil or gold, it's all about perception these days. It's like attending a concert where the band plays awful music, but everyone pretends it's the best thing since sliced bread. So as long as we keep clapping and pretending to enjoy the show, the prices might just keep soaring. So next time you fill up your tank, Don't forget to thank the invisible paper market that's probably sitting somewhere laughing at all of us.
So, Macron just made a statement about being trusted by the US, but respected by the Iranians. What's the deal with that?
Oh, just your typical political tightrope act. Picture Macron perched atop a wobbly diplomacy unicycle, juggling trust from Uncle Sam while tiptoeing around Iranian respect like it's a hot potato. He's clearly trying to show he's the cool kid at the international playground, saying, "Hey, look at me. The US thinks I'm great, but Iran respects me too." This is the kind of political balancing act that would make a circus performer weep with envy.
What do you think Macron's intentions are by saying this?
Ah, the classic Macron move, trying to be the diplomatic DJ of the global party. He wants to spin the records of international relations so smoothly that everyone's dancing to the beat of his drum. I mean, what's better than being the guy who can get the US to trust you and still not get a stink eye from Iran? It's like saying, I can make my grandma like my crazy tattoo, while still getting my parents' approval. But let's be honest, it's a bit like trying to hug a cactus. Someone's bound to get hurt.
How does this statement reflect on US-Iran relations?
Well, it's like Macron just dropped a steaming hot potato into a room full of hungry VIPs. It's bound to cause a scene since, on one side, you've got the US looking for friends in the sandbox, and on the other, you've got Iran throwing sand back at them and saying, "Not today." Macron's just throwing a cherry on top of this diplomatic sundae, hoping everyone can swallow it without choking. It's like someone trying to put a positive spin on a family reunion where nobody talks to each other.
Is Macron just trying to play both sides here?
Absolutely. He's like a diplomatic double agent, wearing a tuxedo on one side and a burqa on the other. Trying to win the heart of the West while also getting a nod of approval from the East. It's like saying, "I'll have my cake and eat it too," while standing in a bakery where the cakes are gluten-free, sugar-free, and taste-free. In the end, someone's going to get a plate of empty calories.
What do you think the other leaders are saying about Macron's comments?
Oh, you can bet they're rolling their eyes so hard they can see their own brains. I imagine they're thinking, "Great, here comes Macron with his latest episode of Keeping Up with the Diplomatic Kardashians. If he keeps this up, we might need a flowchart to keep track of who's in the good books and who's about to enter the diplomatic doghouse." It's a little like watching your friend try to flirt with two people at the same time, and just waiting for the inevitable explosion.
In terms of global politics, is this statement impactful?
Impactful? It's more like a butterfly flapping its wings and causing a hurricane somewhere else. Macron's trying to stir the pot, hoping some diplomatic magic happens, but let's be real, it's probably just a nice, warm breeze before the storm. He might think it's all sunshine and rainbows, but someone's gonna get drenched in the reality check sooner or later. He's in for a wild ride on this political roller coaster.
So, UK's PM Starmer is warning us about dual conflicts in Ukraine and Iran. What's the deal with that?
Well, it seems Europe has taken on a new hobby of juggling wars. Just when you think they might finally pick up needlepoint or baking sourdough, like everyone else in a crisis, they decide to go all in on international tussles. It's like they're hosting a 2-for-1 war sale. Buy one conflict, get the second for a discount. Honestly, if this were a reality show, it would be called Survivor. Geopolitical edition. And spoiler alert, no one seems to be making it to the finale.
What does dual conflicts really mean for Europe?
In simple terms, it means Europe is having a very chaotic dinner party, where people are throwing food instead of passing the salt. You've got Ukraine fighting on one end, and then Iran grabs the mic on the other and starts a completely different set of arguments. It's like trying to follow two soap operas at once. You can't keep track of who's who, and by the end, you're just rooting for the remote control to save you from the madness.
Do you think this will affect the European economy?
The economy. The ever-willing participant in these global soap operas. When it comes to wars, the economy is like that friend who always shows up at the party and eats all the snacks. Prices are going to rise faster than a kid chasing an ice cream truck. And let's be honest, no one wants to pay for overpriced shampoo when they're just trying to wash away the headache of current events. So yes, expect a few more empty grocery store shelves. It's the new hot trend, and unfortunately, it's not gluten-free.
How do you think the public is reacting to all this news?
Public reaction? Oh, it's a mixed bag of confusion and memes. You've got some people clutching their pearls because they think it's the end of the world, and others are Googling how to build a bunker in their backyard like it's a DIY project from Pinterest. Meanwhile, social media is lit up like a Christmas tree with conspiracy theories and cat videos. Because, what better way to cope with international chaos than watching fluffy kittens knock things off tables? We're all just living in our own sitcoms, hoping to land on the laugh track instead of the dramatic cliffhanger.
What can we expect next from European leaders on this issue?
Oh, you can expect them to hold more meetings than a group of anxious high schoolers planning a prom. They'll sit around tables, drink overpriced coffee, and toss around buzzwords like diplomacy and cooperation until it sounds like a bad motivational speech. Meanwhile, the rest of us will just nod along, pretending to understand while secretly wondering if they've considered just sending everyone a nice card instead. You know, something like, "Thinking of you during these troubling times, best of luck with the whole war situation." It's all very heartwarming, really.
Finally, is there any chance for peace in these conflicts anytime soon?
Peace? That's like waiting for a unicorn to show up at your front door with a bouquet of daisies. Everyone talks about it like it's the Holy Grail, but let's face it, no one's really interested in putting down weapons when there are so many Twitter followers to impress. So don't hold your breath. It's more likely you'll see a cat teaching a dog to bark than see these conflicts resolve in the near future. But hey, we can always dream, right? And maybe start a GoFundMe for those unicorns.
So, can you tell us what's happening with the 22 Iranian crew members being returned from Pakistan?
Yes. It's like watching a high-stakes game of musical chairs, but with international diplomacy instead of a catchy tune. Pakistan has decided to play the role of a benevolent nanny, facilitating the return of 22 Iranian sailors who were trapped on the container ship MV Tuska. It's like a homecoming party, but instead of balloons and cake, they get a flight back to Iran. And let's hope they didn't forget their luggage. Meanwhile, the ship is off to get a makeover, because apparently, even container ships need a spa day before they can be reunited with their crew.
What do you think this says about the US-Iran relationship?
Oh, it says so much. It's like watching an awkward couple at a reconciliation dinner. Lots of tension, forced smiles, and a sense of, let's just hope no one brings up the elephant in the room. The US and Iran are trying to build trust in the grandest sense, which is kind of like a toddler trying to stack blocks. One wrong move, and the whole thing collapses. This gesture from both sides is like sharing dessert after a fight. It's sweet. But let's not kid ourselves, they're still sitting at separate ends of the table.
How do these kinds of diplomatic gestures actually work?
Well, it's a bit like sending a peace offering of cookies to your neighbor after a loud argument about the property line. You throw around some nice words, sprinkle in a few acts of kindness, and pray they don't toss the cookies back at you. In this case, by returning these sailors, Pakistan is kind of the mediator at the awkward dinner party, and who knows, maybe the folks in Washington and Tehran could use a slice of humble pie while they're at it. It's all about creating that warm fuzzy feeling that hopefully leads to a well-deserved hug instead of another fistfight.
What are the potential implications of this event?
Oh, the implications are as layered as a fancy wedding cake. On one hand, it could be a sign that the US and Iran are ready to like each other a little more, maybe even sharing a Netflix account. On the other hand, there's always the chance that one side will trip and ruin the whole thing. Because let's face it, relationships are tricky, even more so when you're dealing with countries that often act like they're in a soap opera. So, we might be on the verge of a beautiful new chapter, or just one awkward episode of As the World Turns.
Is this a sign of broader regional stability?
Well, if we're counting on this one incident to bring world peace, we might need to recalibrate our expectations. It's like thinking that planting one flower in your garden will turn it into a botanical oasis. While it is hopeful, we should keep in mind that the Middle East is like a gigantic game of Jenga. One small move can send everything crashing down. So, while this is a lovely gesture, let's just keep the champagne on ice for now and watch how the next round of diplomatic dodgeball plays out.
What's next for the crew and the ship?
The crew are probably boarding their flight back like it's the world's longest Uber ride, hoping for snacks and maybe a movie. Meanwhile, the ship is off for some TLC, getting pampered like a contestant on a reality makeover show, ready to flaunt its freshly polished hull. But in all seriousness, the crew might just want to forget this whole incident like last year's fashion. And the ship? Well, it's just living its best life in the middle of a geopolitical soap opera, waiting for its next big scene.
So, in a surprising turn of events, it seems that Trump's recent comments about Iran might have backfired spectacularly. What can you tell us about this showdown?
Yes, the great summit we never knew we needed. Picture this: Trump, with a smug grin, declaring, "I've got all the cards." Meanwhile, Iran, not to be outdone, flashes a photo of one of their generals with a cheeky smile, saying, "Sure, we might have fewer cards, but we know how to play a good hand." It's like watching a toddler challenge a chess grandmaster to a game of Connect 4. Entertaining, but ultimately a bit sad for the toddler. This whole situation is a testament to how international relations can sometimes feel more like a bad poker night with your drunk uncle than actual diplomacy.
What do you make of Iran's strategic response to Trump's bravado?
Iran's response was as smooth as well-aged whiskey, confident, slightly intoxicating, and leaving a bit of a burn. While Trump was busy collecting imaginary cards like some sort of executive magician, Iran decided to play the classic under-promise, over-deliver tactic. It's like they showed up to a chili cook-off with a secret family recipe, while Trump brought a jar of store-bought salsa and declared himself the king of flavor. You can't help but admire the audacity. It's like they turned his bravado into a slapstick comedy routine.
Do you think this will escalate tensions between the two countries, or is it just another round of political theatrics?
Oh, welcome to the grand circus of international politics, where tensions are the main act and logic takes a back seat. This showdown feels like a game of dodgeball played by preschoolers. It's chaotic, messy, and you never really know who's going to get hurt, or if they'll just end up hugging it out. While Trump might be aiming for some sort of high-stakes negotiation, Iran's chilling in the corner, plotting their next move like a cat watching a laser pointer. So yes, tensions could escalate, and just like that unexpected twist in a soap opera, we're in for a wild ride.
What do you think is the public's perception of both leaders given this debacle?
Ah, public perception? Like a rapidly spinning tilt, a whirl at a carnival, it's dizzying and a bit nauseating. On one hand, you've got Trump, who's probably convinced this makes him the star of the show, while everyone else is just trying to figure out how to exit the ride without losing their lunch. Meanwhile, Iran is playing the quiet game, which, ironically, is often more powerful than 1,000 loud tweets. Most people are probably sitting on the sidelines with popcorn, waiting for the next episode of As the World Turns. I mean, can you blame them? It's like reality TV, but with nuclear stakes.
In your opinion, what can we learn from this situation about international diplomacy?
Oh, what a lesson we're learning. It's like watching a toddler try to negotiate with a vending machine. Lots of shouting, jabbing at buttons, and inevitably, someone ends up crying. Diplomacy in this case teaches us that every leader has their own version of poker face, and we need to decipher who's bluffing, who's got a roll flush, and who just drew a wild card. Communication seems to be the key here, though it often resembles two people trying to talk over each other at a crowded bar. Spoiler alert, it usually ends up with either one person drunk on power or someone flipping the table.
Finally, if this was a game of Uno, what kind of card would you attribute to Trump and to Iran?
Oh, if this were a game of Uno, Trump would definitely be holding that wild draw 4 card, thinking he's in control and can change the game anytime he wants. Meanwhile, everyone else is just rolling their eyes and wishing he'd just play nice. On the other hand, Iran, they'd be that sneaky player with a reverse card, just waiting for the right moment to flip the narrative when Trump least expects it. It's the ultimate game of strategy. And right now, it's clear that everyone is just trying to avoid being the one who goes out first, and possibly ends up crying in the corner.
So, France has decided to sit this one out and reject the U.S. naval mission in Hormuz. What's going on there?
Ah, France rejecting a U.S. mission? That's like a cat turning down a bowl of cream because it doesn't trust the source. President Macron basically said, "Thanks, but no thanks, America. We're not diving into murky waters without a life vest of clarity." I mean, who would want to join a mission that sounds like a high school group project where no one knows who's in charge? Plus, with the way things are going, asking Iran and the US to cooperate is like asking cats and dogs to form a book club. It's adorable in theory, but practically, you might end up with a lot of fur flying and no literature being discussed.
What do you think Macron really means when he talks about wanting clarity from Iran and America?
Clarity, my friend? It's like that elusive last piece of a jigsaw puzzle that always seems to be missing when you're competing against your 3-year-old niece. Macron is essentially waving his arms and saying, "Hey guys, before we jump on this sinking ship, can we at least figure out where the lifeboats are?" He wants to know if this naval mission is going to be a grand adventure, or just another episode of How Not to Win Friends and Influence People in International Waters. I mean, who wants to end up on a ship where the captain is as confused as the passengers? Not me, and certainly not Macron.
How do you think this rejection might affect France's relationship with the U.S.?
Oh, it's probably causing some chilly vibes over at the diplomatic dinner table. You know, like when you bring a gluten-free dessert to a pizza party and everyone just stares at you, silently judging your life choices. France saying no to the US is like politely declining an invitation to a party where everyone else is getting wild. It might lead to some side-eye glances and whispered comments about your taste. But honestly, France is trying to avoid the "I told you so" moment, and honestly, who doesn't want to dodge that email chain? It's like saying, "I love you" over a text while knowing you forgot their birthday. You just don't want to deal with the fallout.
Considering the tensions in the region, what's the potential fallout from this decision?
Oh, you bet there's potential fallout. It's like when you drop a Mentos into a bottle of Diet Coke. Things are going to get bubbly, and not in a good way. With France stepping back, you can almost hear the popcorn popping as we watch nations scramble to fill the vacuum left behind. I mean, could it lead to increased hostilities? Absolutely. It's like leaving a toddler alone in a candy store. Chaos is bound to ensue. Or maybe, just maybe, the US will take it as a challenge and try harder to convince the world that it doesn't have all the answers. Which is like trying to convince a cat that it doesn't need to knock over that glass of water for fun.
What do you make of Macron's suggestion for Iran and America to cooperate?
Oh, that's rich. Suggesting cooperation between Iran and the US is like asking a couple that just broke up to go on a romantic picnic. Macron must think he's some sort of modern-day peacemaker. But let's be real. The only thing those two are likely to cooperate on is avoiding eye contact. He probably means well, but it's like trying to teach a fish to ride a bicycle. It just doesn't happen. But hey, at least he's trying to play the role of the mediator, despite the fact that it feels like trying to get a toddler to share their toy. It's a nice idea, but the reality is usually a lot messier.
In light of this rejection, what should France be focusing on instead?
Well, France might want to focus on perfecting their croissant technique or binge-watching the latest season of How to Navigate Global Politics for Dummies. Seriously though, maybe it's time for them to figure out which alliances are worth their time, like finding a good soufflé recipe that doesn't collapse. They could also work on strengthening relations with European partners and maybe even start a campaign titled, "Let's Not Get Sucked into US Drama." It's like watching a soap opera. You don't want to get involved in other people's drama unless you've got popcorn ready. France could use this moment to remind everyone that while they appreciate a good naval mission, they're not just here for the ride. They've got their own charcuterie board of issues to tackle.
So, Macron has decided against military action to reopen the Hormuz Strait and is calling for diplomatic efforts instead. What do you make of that?
Ah, yes, because nothing says let's solve international crises quite like a round of heart discussions over croissants. I mean, who needs tanks when you can just sit down with some pastries and reach a consensus? It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by discussing your feelings. But seriously, I guess Macron is channeling his inner diplomat instead of a warmonger. Maybe he believes that if we just talk long enough, someone will magically produce a map and show us the way back to sanity.
What implications could this decision have for international relations?
Oh, nothing too dramatic, just a slight ripple effect across the world, like a stone skipping across a pond. Except the pond is filled with geopolitical tensions and the stones are actually tanks. By rejecting military action, Macron might have ignited a game of international, Simon says, where everyone is trying to figure out if they can throw in a diplomatic dance move without stepping on a landmine, literally and figuratively.
Could this diplomatic approach actually lead to any meaningful outcomes?
Well, let's be honest. The last time someone said, "Let's talk it out," the outcome was more, "Let's argue until we're both too tired to care." It's like trying to negotiate with a toddler over who gets the last cookie. Chances are someone's going to end up in tears. However, if Macron's charm offensive works, who knows? We might just see world leaders exchanging pleasantries like old friends at a high school reunion, right before they promptly ignore each other for the next decade.
Is there a risk that other nations might interpret this as weakness?
Oh, absolutely. Because nothing screams, "We are strong and decisive," like refusing to flex your military muscles. It's like opting for a salad at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Sure, it's healthier, but you're also going to get side-eyed by the steak lovers. Other nations might view Macron as a gentle soul who simply wants to hug it out, instead of going for the proverbial jugular. Let's just hope they don't send a thank you card along with a missile.
What are the potential repercussions for France's military partnerships?
You know, partnerships can be tricky. It's like being in a group project where one person decides to do yoga instead of contributing. France might find its military buddies giving it the cold shoulder, thinking, wow, you're really going soft on us, huh? It's like if Batman suddenly decided to go vegan. Sure, it's noble, but how does that help in a fight with the Joker? We might see some alliances either strengthening through newfound respect for diplomacy or crumbling like a cheap soufflé.
How do you think the public will react to Macron's stance?
Ah, the public, those lovely folks who have opinions about everything, especially when it comes to international affairs they barely understand. They'll likely be split like a banana in a blender. Half will cheer, thinking Macron is the peace-loving hero we all needed, while the other half will be rolling their eyes, muttering about weakness. It's like trying to pick a favorite child. You know someone's going to end up feeling neglected. And let's face it, in this political climate, any decision is bound to unleash a wave of memes that will haunt Macron for the next century.
So, we've just heard about this massive earthquake near San Julian, eastern Samar. What can you tell us about that?
Ah, yes, an earthquake so powerful it could probably knock a taco off your lunch plate if you happen to be at a nearby cafe. So, apparently, this seismic event occurred about 56 kilometers deep. Great, just great. It's like Mother Nature decided to have a surprise party for us. But instead of balloons, we got shockwaves. They say it registered at 14:09 local time, which is just perfect timing if you're looking for an afternoon scare. I mean, who needs horror movies when you can feel the ground rumble beneath your feet?
What do you think people are saying in the aftermath of the earthquake?
Oh, I can just imagine the post-quake chatter. It's like everyone suddenly became a geologist. Did you feel that? What was it? Like a 5.7? It's all very scientific until the ground shakes. And then it's just a bunch of folks looking for their lost coffee cups. You've got people saying, I thought I was just dizzy, while others are scoping out the nearest exit like squirrels searching for acorns. Honestly, I bet there are people reassuring their pets as if the dog has a clearer understanding of tectonic plates than they do.
How do you think earthquakes are generally perceived in regions prone to them?
Ah, it's like living next to a moody neighbor who occasionally throws parties at 3 a.m. You get used to the occasional rumble, and sometimes you even think, well, that was a mild one. Like it's a bad movie sequel. In these areas, they probably have more earthquake preparedness drills than they do family gatherings. It's all about that survival instinct, right? They've probably got emergency kits labeled earthquake snacks and a playlist called Tremors and Tunes just to keep spirits up while they wait for the next rumble.
What precautions do you think people should take after such an earthquake?
Well, first off, they should probably check if they still have a house. Just kidding, kind of. But really, after a quake, it's all about pretending to be an adult who knows what they're doing, which means checking for gas leaks and structural damage. You'd think people would be lining up at hardware stores for supplies, like it's a Black Friday sale. And don't forget the emotional cleanup, because nothing says, I survived an earthquake, like binge-watching your favorite TV series while silently judging the structural integrity of your living room.
What role do you think social media plays during these events?
Ah, social media during disasters is like having a front row seat to a circus where everyone is a clown. People love to tweet about an earthquake, as if it's a trending topic like the latest celebrity gossip. OMG? Just felt the earth move. San Julian shakes. It's the place where you find a mix of factual reports and memes about trembling buildings, and honestly, it's hard not to chuckle while scrolling through. You could be panicking on the inside, but outside, you're crafting the perfect earthquake joke for your Instagram.
What's your take on the science of earthquakes coming from deep within the earth?
Oh, the science of earthquakes is like a geological drama unfolding beneath us. Imagine a blockbuster movie where the earth is the protagonist, and it's always having an emotional breakdown. Those tectonic plates are like teenagers arguing over who gets the last slice of pizza, and when they finally decide to move, we all feel it. It's fascinating yet terrifying. One minute you're living your normal life, and the next, you're face to face with Mother Nature's temper tantrum. Truly, it's unpredictable, like trying to guess a cat's next move.
So, I hear the US is reinforcing Israel with heavy refueling aircraft. Does that mean we should start preparing for war or just stock up on popcorn?
Well, if you're thinking it's time to dust off your World War III survival kit, you might not be too far off. I mean, it's almost like the US military decided to throw a little "we're ready for anything" party and forgot to send out the invitations. Picture 14 KC-135 and KC-46 aircraft high-fiving over Ben Gurion like they just scored the winning touchdown in a Super Bowl nobody wanted to attend. So, if you see military planes doing unexpected aerobatics over Tel Aviv, don't worry. It's just them practicing their best "we might be going to war" dance moves.
What's the significance of all these military movements? Is it just a flexing of the muscles or something more?
Ah, the age-old question of flexing versus actual plans. Picture it. The US military is like that friend who shows up at the gym just to take selfies in the mirror, but this time, they've brought their entire aircraft fleet for maximum photo ops. They're basically saying, look at us. We're not just sitting around, we're actively staring down Iran while cleverly avoiding eye contact. It's a bit like preparing for a storm while hoping it doesn't rain, but I guess that's what they call a strategic posture. So, while the planes are out there, it's a strong signal. Kind of like wearing a cape to a casual dinner. No one is quite sure if you're there to save the day, or just really committed to the whole superhero look.
Do you think the public should be worried about these developments?
Oh, absolutely. If by worried, you mean making sure your Netflix queue is stocked, then yes. Let's be honest, the public worry meter is about as reliable as a weather forecast. When tensions spike, it's like someone flipped the panic switch on, and everybody rushes to prep like it's Black Friday at the grocery store. But really, do we ever get enough comfort snacks for that impending doom? We're more like, oh no, let's panic, make a cake kind of people. But hey, if there's a war party on the horizon, at least let's try to enjoy some good snacks while we sit at home with our anxiety, right?
What do you think about the strategy behind these refueling aircraft? Is it a smart move?
Well, it's either a stroke of genius or the military version of ordering pineapple on pizza. Some people love it, others are just confused. Refueling aircraft are kind of like that friend who always shows up just in time to refuel the party, keeping the fun going, or in this case, keeping military operations alive and kicking. It's a smart move if we're planning to stay engaged in the neighborhood, but it does raise some eyebrows. Nothing says we trust our allies more than filling their skies with American-made planes. It's like having your loud, boisterous uncle show up at a quiet family gathering. You're either super excited or absolutely terrified.
With all this talk about military readiness, how do you think it affects diplomatic relations in the region?
Ah, the delicate dance of diplomacy. It's like watching a bunch of folks trying to do the cha-cha while stepping on each other's toes. When the US drops a few heavy jets into the mix, it's like throwing a wrench into a blender. You can forget about any smooth conversations. Iran's probably sitting there like a kid who just found out their favorite toy has been taken away, and tensions are flaring like a bad hair day. So, while the diplomats are trying to craft a peace treaty with a side of theatrics, the military's just doing the loud, flashy stuff. It's like someone shouting, "Peace," while wearing a giant neon sign that says, "We're here." It's not exactly a calming presence.
In the grand scheme of things, what should we really take away from this situation?
Well, first off, take a deep breath, and remember that life is not a warmongering video game. This isn't Call of Duty. We're all a bit players in this global theater, where some folks are auditioning for the role of world savior, and others just want to make it through the day without causing chaos. The takeaway? Just grab your popcorn and watch as the spectacle unfolds. Because in the end, it seems the only thing that's truly imminent is more headlines, more debates, and maybe a little less peace than we'd like. So buckle up, folks. This ride's only just begun, and who knows? Maybe next week they'll be leaving us on an unexpected cliffhanger.